Welcome back to Rick's English channel. By the end of this episode, you'll understand what "how's it going" really means. You'll also learn several natural answers, how to continue the conversation, and which common replies sound strange. And near the end, we'll practice two real conversations together. So the next time someone says, "how's it going?" you won't freeze or start talking about where you're going.
Yeah, that's such a great mission for this deep dive because it's fascinating how those three tiny words can completely paralyze an otherwise fluent English learner.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got this learner who is doing great, and then someone drops a casual, "how's it going?" and they just freeze.
Right, because your brain hears the word going and it just instantly kicks into navigation mode.
Exactly. The immediate reflex is to spit out a destination. Someone asks the question, and you just blurt out, "to the supermarket," or, "to my car."
Which is such a classic trap. But if we peel back the layers here, the confusion makes perfect sense.
It really does. I look at this phrase like a conversational Swiss Army knife. It looked so simple, but it has a very specific utility. But I have to ask, if the "it" in that sentence just refers to someone's life, or maybe their day, why on earth do English speakers use the verb "going"? I mean, it implies physical movement.
Yeah, that right there is the core misunderstanding. We tend to think of going strictly as, walking or driving or traveling somewhere.
Right, physical movement.
Exactly. But in this specific context, the movement isn't physical at all. It's chronological.
Oh, okay. Chronological.
Yeah. Going refers to how events are progressing or unfolding over time. So imagine your day as a timeline. Okay.
I'm picturing a timeline.
And it represents your life, your work, or your current situation just unfolding along that line.
Ah, I see. So the "it" is the situation itself moving forward. They aren't asking where your feet are taking you. They're just asking how your reality is unfolding.
Precisely. That completely transforms the phrase from a logistics question into a general check-in. It's really just a casual way of saying, "How are you?"
Which is why answering "I'm going to the supermarket" is such a humorous mistake.
Yeah.
It's totally logical based on the vocabulary, but completely misses the mark culturally.
Yeah, it's a huge conversational trap. But, avoiding that trap is just the first hurdle.
Right. Knowing what it means is one thing.
Exactly. The second hurdle, and arguably the much harder one, is figuring out exactly how to answer it without freezing or, sounding like a robot.
Which brings us perfectly to the actual responses, because the source material outlines this really helpful spectrum of natural answers.
There really is a spectrum, yeah.
Yeah. And what strikes me is that this isn't just a list you memorize, it's more like a volume dial for your emotions, right?
That's a great way to look at it, a volume dial.
Right. So if we crank that dial all the way up to peak positivity, the go-to answer is simply great.
Yeah, great is the absolute top of the emotional spectrum. But, and this is important, you have to be careful with it.
Why is that?
Well, you really only use this when you are feeling exceptionally good, or maybe a major stressor has just been lifted.
Oh, like a big relief.
Yeah, think about walking out of a massive final exam that you just know you aced. The relief is palpable. If someone asks, "How's it going?" in that specific moment, great, perfectly matches the high energy of the situation.
Okay, that makes sense. But if I just say "great" every single Tuesday when I'm just drinking my morning coffee, that's going to sound a little unhinged, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It feels inauthentic if nothing special is actually happening.
Right, because you're hyping it up too much.
Exactly. And it creates a strangely high expectation for the rest of the conversation.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, if you say you are doing great, the other person implicitly expects a thrilling story to follow. If you just follow up with, "Great, I'm staring at my inbox," the conversational energy just falls flat.
That is so true. It's an anticlimax. So for the everyday, unremarkable Tuesday, we need to turn the dial down a notch to a safer baseline.
Right.
And the notes highlight pretty good for this. But I'll be honest, as a learner, that phrasing is super tricky.
Because of the word pretty.
Yes. Normally, the word "pretty" means beautiful. Why do we pair it with "good" here? It sounds like we're saying beautiful good.
Yeah, that's definitely a quirk of spoken English. In this context, pretty acts as a modifier. It just means fairly or moderately.
Ah, okay. So it's softening the good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It tells the person listening that your day is positive, but, not overwhelmingly so. It's actually the ultimate safe answer.
Because it's positive but neutral.
Yeah, it signals that you are content without forcing you to explain why. It's one of the safest, most common answers you can give.
Okay, well, let me throw a wrench into that idea of safe answers. The next option on the spectrum is not bad.
Uh-oh. I know where you're going with this.
Right. If I translate those two words literally, it feels weirdly pessimistic to a learner. Bad is inherently a negative word. So saying things aren't disastrous doesn't exactly sound like a warm, friendly greeting.
On paper, you are completely right. It looks like the absence of misery rather than the presence of happiness.
Yeah.
But this is where the mechanics of spoken English, specifically tone of voice, completely override the dictionary definition.
Oh, so the tone changes everything.
It changes everything. The meaning of not bad is entirely dependent on how your face looks and how your voice sounds when you say it.
Let's test that out. If I just stare blankly at my desk, sigh heavily, and mumble, not bad, I'm sending a very clear signal that things are actually quite miserable.
Yeah, that flat tone turns it into a straight-up complaint. But try it again, this time with a smile and a slight upward inflection at the end.
Okay, let's see. Like, not bad.
Yes. See the difference?
Oh, wow, I hear the shift. Suddenly I sound upbeat. It almost has a modest quality to it, like things are going really well, but I don't want to brag.
That's exactly the cultural nuance.
Yeah.
Smiling, not bad, actually means you are doing quite well.
Yeah.
It's just a humble way to acknowledge a good day without taking up too much space.
That is fascinating. But what if the day really isn't good or bad? What if you just need a true neutral anchor?
Well, if you're just having a normal day or maybe dealing with a few minor annoyances, the sources suggest saying, it's going okay.
It's going okay. That feels very grounded.
Yeah, it's going okay is basically the conversational equivalent of shrugging your shoulders.
Right, just a verbal shrug.
Exactly. It acknowledges the question politely, but it clearly signals that there is absolutely nothing remarkable to report.
Which is completely different from the final answer on this spectrum. And this one is actually my favorite because it acts like a conversational flare gun.
The flare gun. I love that analogy.
It really is. The phrase is, I've been better. You can't just drop I've been better and walk away. It practically demands a reaction.
Oh, it completely does. It's a very polite but very clear signal of distress.
Because you're openly admitting that things are not going well today.
Exactly. And because human communication relies so heavily on empathy, the person hearing that phrase is basically socially obligated to ask, oh no, what happened?
Right. You're intentionally inviting them to check in on you.
Yeah, which requires a level of trust.
So choosing your answer really comes down to assessing the relationship you have with the person asking. You have to decide how much of your actual reality you want to invite them into.
That's a perfect way to put it. That assessment of the relationship dictates everything that happens next.
Because giving the answer is really only half the battle, isn't it?
Exactly. The other half is knowing how to keep the interaction flowing naturally, or, in some cases, knowing when to gracefully shut it down.
And that brings us to the concept of context. If I'm passing a neighbor in a narrow apartment hallway, neither of us has the time or the desire to unpack our emotional baggage.
Definitely not. The notes actually refer to this as a micro-exchange.
A micro-exchange, so what are the rules there?
Well, in a hallway micro-exchange, speed and politeness are your only goals. Neither person wants a life story.
So it's just a quick back and forth.
Right. You toss out a quick, good, thanks. You. And they reply, pretty good. And you both keep walking without even breaking your stride.
You just fulfill the social contract and get out of there without getting bogged down in details.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
But if you use that same micro-exchange while sitting down for coffee with a good friend, it feels cold.
Right. It abruptly shuts the door on the interaction.
It does. So to keep the door open with a friend, the source material introduces this golden rule. It's a really simple 3-step formula.
Oh, I love a good formula. What is it?
It's answer, add a detail, and ask back.
Answer, detail, ask back. That seems straightforward enough.
It's an incredibly effective psychological tool. So you give your baseline answer, say, pretty good. Then you offer one small piece of information, like, I'm getting ready for a trip this weekend.
Okay, that's the detail.
Right. And finally, you pass the conversational ball back. How about you?
So the whole thing is, pretty good. I'm getting ready for a trip this weekend. How about you?
Exactly. Or maybe, not bad. Work is a little busy today. How's your day going?
What really fascinates me about this formula is the restraint involved. You're instructed to add a detail.
Yeah.
Singular.
Yes, just one. That is so important.
Because if someone asks how I am and I launch into a 10-minute monologue about my vacation packing list and the delayed flight schedule and my dog's anxiety about my suitcase, I mean, I've just paralyzed the conversation.
Oh, totally. The other person has no idea what to respond to first. Oversharing just creates a wall of information.
Right. It's overwhelming.
But offering just one single detail acts as a conversational hook. It gives the other person a specific, easily digestible topic to grab onto.
So they can ask where you're traveling, or they can simply answer your return question about their day.
Exactly. It dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for the dialogue.
Okay, so if that three-step formula is the habit we want to build, we also have to actively unlearn some bad habits.
Oh, for sure. The pitfalls.
Yeah, the notes flag 3 major mistakes learners make to sound natural, and the first one loops right back to our initial how versus where confusion.
Right, the destination mistake. When someone asks, how's it going?
Hmm.
And you confidently reply, I'm going home.
It's such a jarring disconnect for the native speaker.
It really is. They're asking about your well-being, and you are literally giving them your GPS coordinates.
It stops the interaction cold because they have to mentally rewind and figure out why you misunderstood them.
Exactly. And the second mistake creates a very similar kind of awkwardness. It's the yes-no trap.
Like, yes, no trap.
Yeah, treating the phrase as a binary question. Someone asks, how's it going? And the learner just answers, yes, it is.
I can completely see why a beginner's brain might default to that, though.
Oh, totally.
If you don't fully process the how at the beginning of the sentence and you just hear the is it structure, it sounds exactly like a yes or no question.
Right, it structurally feels like one.
But how requires a descriptive word. You have to give it a flavor. Good, okay, rough. Yes, has no flavor.
No flavor at all. It just leaves the listener totally confused. But honestly, the third mistake is arguably the most common one.
Oh, I know what this is.
And it's perhaps the most difficult to break because it's so deeply ingrained by traditional language education.
Ah, yes, the textbook robot.
The textbook robot.
Saying, I am fine, thank you, and you? I vividly remember being taught this exact phrase in my early language classes. Why do teachers drill this into our heads if native speakers find it so off-putting?
Well, because from a purely grammatical standpoint, it is flawless.
I guess that's true.
Right. It has a clear subject, a verb, an adjective, and a polite inquiry. But the thing is, human conversation doesn't operate on pure grammar. It operates on rapport.
Rapport, connection.
Exactly. I am fine, thank you.
Oh.
Is so formal and so stiff that it creates an immediate emotional distance between two people.
It's like showing up to a backyard barbecue wearing a full tuxedo.
That is a perfect comparison.
You aren't breaking any laws, but you definitely don't fit the vibe. Casual greetings demand casual responses to build genuine rapport.
Exactly. If someone throws you a relaxed, how's it going? Matching their tone with a simple, I'm good, thanks, how about you? Does so much more to build a connection than the rigid textbook answer.
And matching that tone becomes even more powerful when you realize that the structure of this greeting is actually modular.
Modular. Yes, it's so flexible.
Because you aren't permanently stuck with the word it. You can swap it out to target a very specific area of someone's life.
Right. The how's plus topic plus going variation.
Exactly. This takes the phrase from a generic hallway greeting to a targeted question like, how's your day going? Or how's work going? Or maybe how's school going?
It's brilliant because it shows you are actively paying attention to the specific details of their life.
Let's actually look at how this plays out in the real world. The source material provides 2 great real-life dialogues. The first one is a workplace scenario that perfectly illustrates this targeted approach.
Right, the new employee setup.
Yeah, we have a new employee interacting with a veteran coworker, and the coworker approaches and asks, how's your first week going? And later checks in with, how's your morning going?
Which are both great targeted uses of the formula.
But what I really love about the new employee's response is that she uses the 3-step formula to navigate a somewhat intimidating power dynamic.
She does. She handles it beautifully.
She answers, pretty good, thanks. But then for her detail, she says, I'm still learning how everything works here.
And that single detail is just a masterclass in professional vulnerability.
It really is.
She doesn't complain because that would sound unprofessional.
Yeah.
But she admits she is still finding her footing. And later in the dialogue, she uses the exact same tactic.
When she's talking about the report.
Right. She says she is finishing a report, but adds the detail, I'm not sure where to upload it.
And that detail is a gift to the coworker. By admitting she doesn't know where the folder is, she gives him an incredibly low-stakes opportunity to be helpful and competent.
Exactly. He immediately jumps in with, you can upload it to the team folder. I'll show you after lunch.
So she didn't even have to directly ask for help, which can feel really daunting when you are new.
No, she didn't. The 3-step formula naturally created a space for collaboration. It proved that this framework builds actual connections without forcing the issue.
That is so practical. Now, the second scenario the sources outline shifts away from the office and into a cafe, but it leans even harder into that idea of vulnerability.
Oh, the late friend scenario.
Yeah. Two friends are meeting up and one of them is running late.
Right, so the late friend arrives, the other friend asks the standard, how's it going? And she deploys our conversational flare gun.
Hmm.
Honestly, I've been better.
Now, reading this initially, I actually thought I've been better sounded a bit demanding.
Really? How so?
Well, like you are forcing the other person to deal with your negative baggage before they've even taken a sip of coffee. But when you look at the mechanics of what happens next, it's not a burden at all, it's a bridge.
It is a bridge. It immediately signals vulnerability to a friend because she follows up her flare gun with specific details.
Hmm.
Her bus was late, and she dropped her phone and cracked the screen.
She is just laying her cards on the table.
Exactly. And by doing that, she triggers the empathy reflex in her friend.
Right, he doesn't pull away, he leans in. He asks about the phone, he offers to buy her a coffee, to salvage the morning.
Because that's what friends do. But think about it. If she had used the textbook robot and said, I am fine, thank you, she would have been suffering in silence.
And he would have felt a strange disconnect.
Exactly. The honesty of I've been better prompts those follow-up questions that make the exchange feel caring. It allows the friend to transition from just a casual hangout into a supportive role.
It deepens the friendship. It really shows that mastering these phrases isn't just about sounding like a native speaker. It's about actively participating in the emotional rhythm of the culture.
Participating in the rhythm. I really love that framing.
Thanks. And, the only way to catch that rhythm is to actually practice it. So we are going to do an interactive drill right now with you, the listener.
Yes, get ready.
Because reading the answers in your head is one thing, but building the muscle memory to bypass that where are you going panic that requires speaking aloud. So I'm going to ask you the question, and I want you to answer out loud, wherever you are, using the 3-step formula. Ready?
Give it a shot.
Hey, how's it going?
So this is where you jump in with your answer. If you followed the formula, you started with a baseline answer, added one detail, and asked back.
Right, like our example. Pretty good, thanks. I'm relaxing at home. How about you?
Exactly. Nice and natural.
Let's do one more challenge, this time using the specific topic variation. Think about the skill you are working on right now. How's your English practice going?
And again, you just apply the formula. Solid, natural response would be, it's going well. I'm listening to English every day. You.
Look at that. No panic, no giving me your GPS coordinates, just a smooth, natural exchange. So to quickly recap everything we've covered today, remember that how's it going means how are you, not where are you heading.
Right. And choose your answer from the 5 natural answers based on your emotional volume from a high-energy great down to the vulnerable flare gun of I've been better.
And when you want to build a connection, rely on the golden formula. Answer, add a single detail, and ask back.
And please, leave the textbook robot in the classroom.
Absolutely. Now, as dictated by our sources, we have a call to action for you. We want you to drop a comment below the video answering this exact question. How's your English learning going this week?
Yeah, write 1 or 2 sentences using the formula.
Exactly. Tell us something like, pretty good. I'm learning 5 new phrases every day. And while you're scrolling down there, remember to like and subscribe to Rick's English channel for more practical conversations just like this.
Typing it out in the comments is the perfect bridge between understanding the theory and using it in real-time conversation.
It absolutely is. Well, we've unpacked the mechanics of the English world's most misunderstood greeting today, but we want to leave you with one final, provocative thought to chew on.
Yeah, we've seen how the casual, quick nature of how's it going tells us so much about the relaxed speed of modern English culture. So it begs a fascinating question. If you analyze the most common everyday greeting in your native language, what does that phrase reveal about what your culture values most?
Oh, that is a brilliant question to mull over. Next time you greet someone in your mother tongue, pay attention to what you are actually asking them. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep practicing, keep talking, and we'll catch you next time.